And where did my video feed go? Hello and welcome everyone to the High Ground Podcast. I am excited to have some awesome guests. I know my video feed is not showing right now, and that's fun. But yeah, we're going to get into talking about everything about Anakin and Ahsoka right here on the High Ground. And yeah, let's jump into it.
I think I've been summoned. Did you call me?
Sorry, I have some odd stuff
I got
popping
you.
up right now.
My bad.
Let me take care of this real quick. I apologize about the delay, everyone. Um, video. Remove this. All right. So we are here getting started. Yeah, but thank you everyone for joining us here on the High Ground Podcast. I will be working on my video feed in the background to make sure of why things are not popping up, but that is totally okay because we are professionals here. So I'm going to go around the room and start by asking, who are you? Where can we find you and your awesome content? And which Star Wars character would you most like to have as your Padawan? I'm going to go to Brian first on this one.
Hello there, I am Brian with Pink Milk, where we talk Star Wars queerly. We have two shows, a morning show for us super fans and those forced to listen to us, and a late night live stream where we take much deeper dives into Star Wars with a lot of laughs, a lot of tears, and a whole lot of thirst. More than anything, it's the thirst. And if I was going to take on any Padawan, I think I'm gonna help Asajj, and hopefully she won't turn into a dark disciple.
I I like it. You can replacement Kynark. Okay, I can see that. And how about you, Maria?
Hi, I'm Maria. Maria_Skywalker on TikTok and on Instagram. I post edits, I post lore, I post informative videos, I talk about my opinions, and I also create a safe space for everyone else to talk about their opinions as well. If I could have a Star Wars character as a Padawan, I'd probably go with Caleb. I love him so much, and I love his energy, and I think he'd be a great Padawan to have.
Okay, I love it. And going with the Padawan name as well. I was like, wait, who? Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I could go with Kanan, but we know he's not a Padawan anyway.
Awesome. And how about you, Carter?
All right, what's going on, everyone? My name is Carter. You can find me on TikTok at Cartoony2. It says it right there. And I also have a podcast. It's called They Fly Now. We stream every Monday. Me and my co-host, Harith Productions. We just kind of talk about whatever we feel like talking about. That there. And yeah, if I had to have one Padawan, I would probably go with Ezra. He's my favorite character.
Oh my
So I
god.
almost feel like I have to pick him, and we have very like similar personalities. So that would either go like really,
sound
really
like
well,
him.
or it would go really bad.
Wait,
You
you
sound
do?
like
Now that
him,
you
like
mention it,
you
yeah, you
literally-
do.
I was about to say, I couldn't voice Ezra.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment, but I feel like it could go like either really good or really bad because like similar personalities. But I mean that might not be the best thing, but I think we would have the best time.
I'm like, how can you have him as your Padawan if you are him? That's
Maybe I do voice act him, and I just haven't told anyone.
awesome. I love it.
Surprise.
And last but certainly not least, how about you, Kels?
Hi, I'm Kels. You can find me on TikTok at Discount Sansa Stark, and I also have a podcast, The Queer Side at Sea, with my amazing co-host Becca. it's just chaotic gay Star Wars stuff. That's all you need to know. um, and who I'd have for a Padawan, Choco, I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna go with Reese Silas because I mean, we're both introverts, and I could tell him that we're just gonna spend the whole day in the archives, and we would just be thriving and reading books all day, and I'm having to just do constant book reports and just like, here, find something interesting and tell me what you want, so I can learn too, and we'll just, be nerdy.
He would just be like, dope. Yeah, down,
Let's go.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's my pick. If I was also thinking about Ram, because Ram is also someone who's like, no man, I just want to build stuff. Like, leave me alone. And I don't. It's hard to pick because there's certain people like I love Anakin the character. I'd hate to have him as my Padawan. I would just be tired
same.
all the time. Just like, come on, dude. Like, I don't know.
I'm raising a 7-year-old Anakin, so I can guarantee you would be tired. You get all of the emotions to their fullest extent. It's the greatest thing in the world, and sometimes not so great.
No, I love it. Let's see here. I've been having some weird stuff, but let's see if the chat's gonna pop up for me. Yay! There's the chat. Just want to see who, because we have some awesome people here in the chat. We got Harris Productions is in here. Bobby Productions. Star Wars Lawyers here. Brian with the Beard. Haley Corelli Coffee Works. Luke Padawan's Podcast. Cal Forer in the chat. Captain Boomerang. Sokka. We have the Amazing Gray. Malik. Awesome people here and getting lots of love. Brian says Maria's very quiet, so I may have to raise the voice, or you can talk louder, or
I'll just talk really loud.
perfect. Malik would pick Lula Talasola for his Padawan, or Bell, so I can protect him.
Oh, Belle.
And
Oh, Belle.
so does Camilla. I feel like Lula and I would get along greatly. For me, I just Belle. I'm not equipped to handle the trauma that is going to come along.
Oh my god.
I love him,
Oh my
and
god.
then Lula is like my child, and I would be too emotionally compromised to like do that for her. St. Pat is calling for Gunji, and
Oh my god, I love him.
we have Ace wants Grogu. Trice FX says Yo Chaco and Maria. Cal wants Bell Zetafar. It's LSF says Zine. Zine as you got a trainer from scratch. It's pretty cool to see a force sensitive person just wielding 2 guns, just running around like wreaking havoc. It's pretty cool. We stand Zine here. But all right, moving to the subject at hand, we're gonna jump straight into Anakin. I feel like we are all Anakin fans here.
Yeah.
What?
Here's the thing. People think I'm a simp. People think I'm a simp for him, but I do not simp for him at all. Like I see him more as like a brother.
Same.
Like I don't simp for Anakin. Like he's like my brother to me, not like a.
Same.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Same. People,
I saw
people think
someone
I'm also
comment.
a simp.
Yeah, and it's like,
I'm like, no, we're just the same person. No.
Well, yeah, let's start with Maria. But yes, this is going to be conversational, so feel free to jump in and talk and whatnot. But what is it about Anakin? Why do you like the character? Like, what's compelling about?
I like how you already know I like. I make it pretty clear on my page, but I love Anakin so much because he has depth and complexity, and you have to look past like the surface level to really dig deep and figure out what's going on in his head. and you have to like think about his past, how it influences him. And I think that I don't see other characters as complex as him, and I just love him so much for that. And I love the idea that he's a victim turned villain. And yeah, I love him a lot.
All right, beautiful.
Yeah, I love how, especially when you're introduced to the prequels, we finally see somebody with some like emotions. You know, he
Mhm.
might go to the extreme in those emotions, but I think
Maybe.
had he been taught properly, those emotions could have done him well. And he really
Mhm.
is really, really fantastic. And then to see a dad be able to pull through for his kid once he figures out that it's his son, and that's the thing that pulls him back out of it. I mean, come on now. Like
Like, it's
that's
beautiful. Come
yeah.
on, it's literally the most beautiful story.
Yeah.
And
That is a beautiful
Yeah, so
moment.
I, I, I like Anakin a lot, but I wouldn't say he's one of my like all-time favorites. I like Anakin as like a cautionary tale kind of
Mm.
thing,
Mm.
but necessarily I don't. Sometimes I'm like, Anakin, what are you doing, man? But like, he's an amazing character, and there's like, I mean, he's Anakin, so he's awesome.
Well, and that's the thing. You need that like energy. I mean, it's the chaos that like builds that momentum. How about you, Kels?
Yeah.
Well, I really bonded over him as a 9-year-old, over trauma and stuff. So like we really kind of, because I realized we like grieve the exact same way, and I realized that as a 9-year-old. I won't go into details, but I do on my podcast, so it's fine. But yeah, so I really like connected with him in that way, and then the more I watched the prequels and then the Clone Wars, I realized we really just process almost everything exactly the same, to the point where it almost scares me. But it's
Keep your
I
kids
love
safe.
him.
Keep your kids safe.
I will not.
Yeah.
I will not go after the kids. I promise. I have some self-control.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Hide your kids, hide your wife.
He's the extroverted version of me. I wouldn't do that. I'd be too scared. I'd run away.
I really hope that wouldn't even come into your head, right?
No, it would not. Oh my god.
We got Star Wars lawyer Chris in the chat. Anakin is like an onion. He has layers. Um,
and he makes
Or
you
a
cry.
parfait. Or a
Makes me
parfait.
cry. That's a
He does
good
make me
one.
cry. He does make me cry a lot.
Every day. Every day experience.
TriceFX says the rise and fall of Darth Vader, which is a Legends book, is very underrated, which is very true. Rise and fall of Darth Vader, and I actually think it's free on Kindle right now. At least I got it for free on Kindle like a couple months ago. Hopefully it's still up there. And Camilla says, "Oh, Anakin, we love you, you big dumb dummy."
He is very dumb, but I love him for it.
Hey, let's not.
Common
Th-
sense.
this is-
Never heard of her.
This is not this isn't Anakin's slander. We just know he's not the most studious, and he's all heart. He's all ready, fire,
all
aim.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like me.
And there's certainly benefits to that. There's also downsides, as we saw.
Sometimes you
Yeah.
kids.
All right. So let's move to the second part of it. And what are your guys' thoughts on Ahsoka? How do you feel about her, and why? And I'll start with Carter on this one.
I love Ahsoka. I actually like Ahsoka more than I like Anakin. I know that might be unpopular because we have some Anakin lovers in here, but I love Ahsoka. Kind
I'm
of
with you,
growing
dude.
up with her and with the Clone Wars, and then with Rebels, everything that happens with her that like builds a love, and then see her in Mando, and then I recently just read the Ahsoka novel by E.K. Johnson, and that I
So
was
good.
like, Ahsoka is so amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really like Ahsoka. I like how her mentality is and how it like adapts throughout like everything that she's gone through, because she's gone through so much. But yeah, I really love Ahsoka.
Awesome.
Ahsoka is like the perfection that I think all people want to attain, but none of us ever will. Like she is just so perfect in the way she can pick herself up from any flaws that she has. She recognizes her flaws and continues to work on them without judgment and all those things. And man, the end of season 5 when she walks away, it's such a
Oh
powerful
god.
moment. Like
Ugh.
as as a queer
Hurt,
person, I
man.
have an a complex relationship with both government and church, and let's face
Mhm.
it, the Jedi became both the government and the church, and
Preach it.
and she was able to walk away from all that and like leave the bad and accept the good in it and not have a lot of anger or judgment towards it, and still find see it in for what it could be. And I think that's such an inspirational message. And then we get to see her when she's kind of at her worst at the beginning of season 7, and then she meets like some of the greatest characters in all of Star Wars, and our Martez sisters like are there to like show her that like no, she was right.
Mhm.
She's beating herself up because she's been like indoctrinated into this idea that she was the wrong one. Shouldn't have walked away. And they're like, and I felt like those the sisters kind of like lifted her up, and they're like, no girl, you were right. Like you're right, and you're doing the right thing. And she brought everybody back. Ah, Sucks perfect. Perfection.
Real quick, I just gotta mention like her little jumpsuit is like just the most adorable
Oh,
thing
so
in that whole thing.
I
Like,
love that jumpsuit. Best look. Oh my gosh.
I stan the lesbian Ahsoka jumpsuit. I am here for it. All
Yes.
day, every day.
Oh, every day. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh. I need one. Burn it.
Yeah.
I guess I need lesbian jumpsuit now. I don't have her.
Let's go.
and how about you, Maria?
I love Ahsoka. She's in my top 10 favorite characters. I think top 5, honestly. And I love her spirit. I love her energy. I love her strength, her willpower. She like in the toughest situation where everyone was against her, she still like held her ground, but also was like I don't know how she did it. In that situation, I'd be fuming, like I'd be pissed, but she just kept this sort of balance within herself. And I love how she approaches being a Jedi and a Force user, especially after meeting the Martez sisters, hearing how the Jedi filled their family. And I love how she approached that in becoming a better Force user, a better Jedi, maybe, even though she says I am no Jedi. And I love her so much. She's like the little sister, and I think that makes me love her even more. That like her and Anakin's bond means so much to me because that's like what I would be too. I don't know.
Yeah. And if you ship them together, I hate you. I'm sorry.
I hate
Oh,
you too.
same.
I just-
I hate it too.
Ooh.
No,
Literally.
literally yesterday I was looking for like Anakin like screenshots from Clone Wars on Pinterest, and I came across Annie Soka fan art. Shut the app
Oh,
so
God.
quickly. I was
No.
like, nope, we're done. We're done.
No.
I remember I posted a
ship
video
who
on
you
it a
want.
long
All
time ago.
ships are valid.
Mm.
Not
Except
that
for
one.
Anakin and
No,
Ahsoka.
I don't think
All
clone
except
ships are
Anakin and
valid.
Ahsoka.
Clone
I don't-
ships are not valid ever.
No.
Like, I
We do
think
not
that is
support
very
clone
invalid.
cest.
They're,
Definitely not.
they're children. I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, that too.
They are children. Oh my god.
They
Um,
are the
And they're
Probably
also
could've-
like,
No.
I could have been with you on the clones until we met Hauser, and then Hauser just kind of changed the
God.
game because I mean, come on.
yeah,
really
I'm one to talk. Rex is my com head. It's bad. It's fine.
So we have
I'm a sim for clones, not gonna lie.
Same. Just Rex.
Clone sim. Just clones. Clones.
I mean, yeah.
They're animated, but it's fine.
They're better animated though.
Well, I mean, anyone that grew up when Space Jam came out knows it's okay to simp over animated characters.
Oh yeah, I remember
Bugs
watching that as a
Bunny.
kid.
I feel like that's I feel like that's where furries came from. Is I don't believe they existed before Space Jam.
Conspiracy theory.
I haven't done the research, but I don't believe they existed before Space Jam. Alyssa Gray says, I love Ahsoka so much. My number one favorite. Chad Robinson. I love her determination. Great character. Camilla says, Kiadi Mundi is the true enemy of the Jedi Order. I love it.
Dude, I hate that.
Oh my god. Oh my
Kiadi
god.
Mundi.
I could punch him
Kiadi
in
Mundi
the
can
fat
fall
ass
down.
forehead.
Yep. He
The
could
man
fall
has
down
three-
a hole.
The man has 3 brains and can still not make the correct decision.
No. It's embarrassing.
I mean,
Embarrassing.
come on. Man. All
Everything
those
that comes
brains
out
are
of his
just
mouth
come
is
for
wrong.
waste.
When he went after
I mean,
my
I do
girl
agree.
Ahsoka, I was like, hey.
He should've-
like he was like so against her, and he like was like immediately blaming her. And I was about to
I know,
push the
like-
TV. I was like, you're so annoying. Oh my god.
I have chosen violence today. It's fine.
Just a kid in it, though.
What about the
Yeah.
droid attack on the Wookiees? Like, shut up.
He
Shut up,
should
you
have.
go then.
He should have been fired out of a cannon
Been fired.
into the sun.
Girl boss a little too close to the sun.
And then stayed alive and toast for a little bit, then die. You can't just die right away. If you're
What
carrying
happened to Anakin?
You have to let him feel it a little bit.
All right, so whose shoes would you rather be? Would you rather have Anakin as a master or Ahsoka as a Padawan? I'll ask Kels first.
Sort of the same with Carter and Ezra. I feel like if Anakin were to be a master, it would go astronomically terrible because we're too similar and we'd probably murder each other. And since I am so similar to Anakin, I think it would work to have Ahsoka as a Padawan because they seem to work out okay. So I think we'd vibe, and it would be fine. Even though sometimes I feel like she'd be teaching me more than I'd be teaching her, but it's fine.
Yeah, as one does. I mean, I feel like that happened with Obi-Wan and Anakin as well, because
Yeah.
Obi-Wan's like, I think of Attack of the Clones, and Obi-Wan's like, okay, be calm. We're gonna be very careful in how we do this. And then the next second, he's diving out a window,
Jumps out the window.
and you're like,
He's just
bro, that
"Hey, Why
escalated."
do you jump off things? And I'm like, because you did it first. Like, what are you
Like-
doing?
Do you know how you got
He was
here?
like, I hate it when he does that. You
I'm
did
like,
it.
You did this 5 minutes ago.
How about you, Brian?
I mean, I'm here for Ahsoka all day, any day. I'll take. She's my ride or die for life, and yeah, I could deal with the snippiness. I love her humor. I'd be down with it. We would probably be very quippy together, and yeah, she's just perfect. Ahsoka, if you ever ask me any question, Ahsoka is always the
Ahsoka.
answer.
Ahsoka.
And of course, she'd call you a Bry guy. Huh?
And I'm
Huh?
fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Sorry, I like terrible dad jokes. My bad. How about you, Carter?
I hate to follow the trend, but yeah, definitely Ahsoka as my Padawan because say Anakin.
You're starting to
were
sound like a
master-
robot, by the way.
I can't type.
Rub it.
I
So-
can't type. It's fine.
I'll I'll let you unplug and replug. Mari and Kels, have you gone
No.
yet?
I have.
I haven't. I'm gonna go with a different answer than you guys. I would want Anakin to be my master. I think he's very underrated as a master. I mean, look at how Ahsoka turned out. Like,
He did
I don't
great.
know,
He
like
did a good job.
he was a great master, and I think that I would love that brotherly sisterly relationship. And he's very loving and caring, and he puts you first. And I think I would feel very appreciated and loved by him because he goes all the way all the time. Like when they attacked Ahsoka for something she didn't do, he stood by her and went all out to try to find who it was. I just think he's a great master.
Yeah, you'd be surprised at how kind he is. we're gonna discuss that later.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question though? Going off of that,
Yeah.
where do we think Anakin would have ended up had Ahsoka not left?
That's a
Same-
loaded
same
question.
thing. But I
Yeah.
think, yeah,
It's
Yeah.
debatable. I wouldn't say that all his problems are fixed because childhood trauma, but I think Ahsoka might have gotten to him. Like, especially, I think I honestly like their relationship the most out of everyone. I think Anakin is the closest to Ahsoka out of anyone, and I think that she could have gotten to him and been like, "Hey, dude, like, stop what you're doing. Like, get some help."
It's like, hey, Palpatine's a creep. You
don't-
should stop hanging out with him.
Yeah.
see, I don't know though, because I feel like Palpatine would have still figured out a
Yeah.
way.
Palpatine
You
always
know,
finds
like,
out a way. I'm
despite-
just saying, I definitely think she would have
Yeah.
tried to do
Yeah,
something.
she would have tried.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
And he might have
For
listened to
sure.
her because everyone else ignored him. But I think if she kind of sensed it, I think she would have, if they were together for long enough. I think she would have said something and been like, "Hey, are you like okay?"
you good, bro?
Is your wife good? You good, bro? You haven't slept or eaten in 3 days. What are you doing?
No, it's an interesting question. I mean, it does go along with what I was going to bring up next, is how Ahsoka impacted Anakin's journey. You know, I mean, you asked if she hadn't left, but where would he be if he never had a Padawan? Like, how much different did she make him?
Oh, I think that dude would have fallen a lot quicker without her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I was just gonna
I-
say.
Ahsoka was his person, like his person, and I think one thing is like before he was assigned a Padawan, he was very young when he was assigned one, first of all, and he was not a fan of the idea, of course, and he was like, I don't think I'd be able to do this. But through her, he learned more about himself. He grew a lot as a person. He had to learn some patience and just grow as a Jedi. Because now he's responsible for someone else, and he found someone else that he really loves. And you can even see, like, after she left, when she came back, he had kept her sabers safe and then, like, revamped them and made them special for her. So when she, I'm gonna cry. Let's not talk about that actually.
He was
But,
so excited when she came
like-
back. I couldn't. Oh my god.
yeah, and when she like turned him down, I was a little like, "Hey yo, it's like, why would
It's
you
like-
do that?"
It's like, look at him.
Because he was like really excited. But
I mean, I was going, hug him, damn it.
I wanted a hug so bad.
Yeah, and then like the little sad
You're-
face he made after she like walked away. He was like,
I know.
I was like, oh my god,
It's
he
like-
needed
it's like
a
you're-
hug.
It's like at a middle school dance. It's like at a middle school dance. You just want like the two kids who you're trying to set up. You're like hug, 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 hug.
Just not in that
And
way.
they just walk away.
Just brotherly,
That way.
sisterly hug. You
Yeah.
want
Sorry, I'm too
You need
old
to-
to
you need
even
to
think of the
physical touch.
concept of trying to set people up at a middle school dance.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I've
But
been
you
married
know it
for a
happens.
really
You
long
know it
time.
No, it's fine. I do agree. I mean, she did force him to grow and force him to understand Obi-Wan a bit more. And I'm curious if part of him coming back from being Vader at the end was also because of, you know, having lost a Padawan that he considered like his little sister before. I know. I can just see it. If he didn't have her, I do think it would have happened a lot faster. Palpatine, like Dave Filoni makes it clear that Palpatine has been trying to turn him for a long time. We
Ever
saw
since he
the
walked
final,
in at 9 years old. At 9 years old.
Yeah.
Ever since he walked
Yeah.
in.
but the whole entire Reiko Hardeen arc, the whole purpose
Oh
of
my
that
gosh.
is Palpatine is trying to turn Anakin.
Oh.
And kind of like forces all of this stuff to happen. And like Dave Filoni
Yeah.
actually comes out in the, like, if you have the Blu-ray, and he's like, yeah, this was really like his first major attempt to turn Anakin. And
Yeah.
but we tell this entire arc through the eyes of Obi-Wan, which I think is really fascinating. But yeah, he would not have given up. He would have just, even if Revenge of the Sith didn't work, he would have just moved on to another to plan
Attempt.
plan
Well,
Z.
I mean,
That yeah.
Ahsoka was the first one.
Hardin. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
The arc with Hardin and the deception, like truly, like I get so angry watching it because
Same. I hate that arc
it's
so much.
really,
Oh my gosh,
like I love it, but I hate it. If that makes sense,
I
because
don't like it.
it was a perfect way for Palpatine to show the flaws of the Jedi to Anakin and to make him like be like, hey, like this wasn't okay. Because how are you gonna you know this kid has trauma, you know that he has a fear of losing Obi-Wan, you don't try to address it like properly, at least discuss it a lot. Instead you're going to use it for your benefit and you're going to use it to get an advance in a war. And even like I think Obi-Wan says that his reaction sold it. What was that? What do you mean his like that's like you're using his pain to like benefit for this little like task, and it makes me angry, and it makes me realize how much Anakin that day was like, I do not trust you guys. And of course he's gonna run to Palpatine, and of course he's gonna continue to get manipulated by Palpatine because that's the point.
Yeah,
it was
Palpatine
Palpatine
allowed
setting
him-
it up.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead,
do.
go ahead,
I have
Brian.
strong feelings.
Yeah, Palpatine, I mean, he allowed Anakin to feel something. Obi-Wan did not allow him to feel anything. I mean, Palpatine, if he had good intentions, would have been a really great thing for Anakin. I think that's what Ahsoka's all about. I mean, she was the first one to like crack his armor after he had turned, you know? Like, I mean, literally, but like she was the first one to do it. And I think for me, like that no Jedi line it's two-sided. Like in a way, it's also, I think, her kind of at a dig at him, you know, and had he been able to walk away with her, which I think he should have done back then, he should have had the same strength she did. And I think that's a little bit of her saying, you know, I'm no Jedi and you could have been no Jedi too, and now we're here together, and we're here instead of you walking away. Like, you didn't have to stay down that path, dude, and you didn't have to take old Palpy's way either. You know, there was another way out, but he was so manipulated by this rule of two and the idea that you can only be one or you can be the other. That's it. You know, he was
Yeah. I think another arc that shows like it's at the very end of the arc, but it shows like Anakin and Ahsoka's relationship is whenever like Ahsoka gets lost. On, like, the island with
the end of season
Padawans, like,
3.
Ahsoka's
Season
getting
3.
hunted, and then at the end, Anakin's like, Ahsoka, I was worried sick, basically, and like, where were you?
I actually have a video
It's like,
on that where you can see that he's blaming himself. That's Anakin's
Yes,
biggest fear,
yeah,
is being
he's-
a failure to the people he loves. So when Ahsoka got lost, he immediately was like, I didn't try hard enough. I should have tried hard enough. Like I should have tried
Yeah,
harder.
he
I
blames
should have
himself.
done something more.
Yeah.
And that's why he wants power, because that's like what makes him crave power. It's not to be like, at first it's not to be this great powerful being. It's to help the people he loves. And you can see that throughout his whole life, is that his fear of being a failure affects everything. I love that arc.
That is the heart of
That's,
what's
like, one of my
amazing between
favorite
him and
arcs in the
Ahsoka, though, is because Anakin, because he's a student of the Jedi and like bought into that idea way too much, like he wanted to fix everybody, like he wanted to help you. It was his fault, which is an honorable thing. But like the power that Ahsoka has is she walks into a room and empowers you to fix yourself. She is there to stand by you, but she lifts other people up. She doesn't pick them up, she lifts them up. And Anakin is like, I'm gonna pick you up, hold you in my hand, and be your knight in shining armor. Like that's the most amazing dynamic, at least for me, between those two characters.
Yeah.
Ahsoka
Yeah.
lifts
I just
you
started.
up, Anakin grabs you and pulls you up.
Yeah.
Gotta keep going.
I can't find any more, but Beth in the chat said the worst part about the Reiko Hardin arc is bald Obi-Wan.
Oh my god. I have so much to say about that arc. It's just a lot. I have a lot of feelings. It's fine.
No, it's okay. We'll keep soldiering forward, but maybe I'll have to do another episode specifically on that arc, because I feel like we can
always talk about
go
Anakin.
places there.
Also, I think it's weird that they assigned him to the Zargarian arc, like that
Same,
part
same.
where they
Oh my
assigned
God.
him where it's like a bunch of slaves. Like, oh, we know you were a slave.
Yeah.
This is, go
Yeah,
ahead.
let's send the one that was in slavery out of the thousands of Jedi we
Well,
have. Let's send the
I don't
one
think
that
they
was a
did
slave.
anything on purpose, but yeah, that
Well,
was super
you know,
weird
it's
there-
like-
there's-
because
it's
like
weird.
Ahsoka is also a Togruta and they're
They don't
enslaving
think twice. Like
Togrutans.
that's they don't like try to see how we're trying to see in depth like how that affected him. They don't try to. They're not like, oh, like, you know what, maybe this kid, because I get it, like Jedi are supposed to be neutral to an extent, but that's also a flaw because like you're holding back people from feeling things, but like in their eyes they have to be neutral. So like they're thinking, oh, Anakin can deal with it. No, he cannot. He was taken at a later age, which affects his training a lot, and he was a slave, which of course is gonna affect him when he goes and he sees the things that, like the torture and stuff that he experienced as a kid with his mom. Like of course it's gonna affect him.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
yeah,
why
and,
High
like,
Republic
also with
Jedi
that-
are superior.
Yep.
That is a factual statement. But also in that arc, you find out like Ahsoka doesn't know really a whole lot about Anakin's backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Because like
think
Obi-Wan
he
has
keeps
to
it a
explain to him,
secret.
yeah, Anakin was a slave, and Ahsoka's like, wait,
Mhm.
what? Did not know that.
I think
Yeah.
it's like a part of his life he tries to just bury deep down.
Yeah.
Because
So
if he talks about it, it awakens all of his thoughts of his mom and stuff. And he doesn't want to deal with that, so he just doesn't talk about it. Which I get.
maybe, but like, should he
I mean,
talk about things and open up and ask for
opening
help?
up about your trauma's hard, Choco.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
okay.
hard.
No, I
think
I
what
get
he's
that. I just
tried-
feel like I see a lot of like
Elzar man.
a lot
I
of-
mean,
a lot
Elzar
of-
man.
Yes.
Elzar Man was like, all right, I need help. Elzar Man
Gotta open
turns
up.
to
Yeah.
Ty Yorick, who's
Oh my
left the Jedi
gosh.
Order, and he's like, hey, you want to like
We
be
need
my
to mind
buddy?
meld.
Do you want to just
We
be?
need to mind meld.
Need some help.
Where's my buddy? You know, I need
I
I need
think-
help.
Yeah, I think Anakin just thought
Which is-
there was high expectations for him because he's a chosen one and stuff. And like, did he
That
really
too.
like he even if he did open up, does he feel welcomed in the Jedi Order? I don't think so. He was bullied and like as a kid, and then like also like
Mhm.
they've always been cold to him ever since he walked in. Like, imagine you're 9 years old walking into a strange place and they're immediately like, no, we don't like you. Like, what's that? Like he
The-
just walked in. Like, he's
The
a
first thing
kid.
they said to him is, "What do you mean you miss your mom? She's gone. Get over it. Move on." Like they're like
Like, just chill. Like, what your thoughts dwell on
Take a
your
chill
mother.
pill.
Well, no, Dad, they do. Like, help him. Don't just like judge him for it.
Mhm.
I stand by
Yeah,
the
and
fact that
that's-
Anakin would have
so-
thrived in High Republic times. He would have
Oh.
thrived.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just fine.
Definitely.
So
Oh yeah.
the
Or with
other night
Qui-Gon.
on my own podcast, our topic was, like talking about the Jedi and how they fell, and then we like referenced back to the High Republic, and then just saying like Elzar Man is a really like kind of like a parallel
Mhm.
to Anakin in the sense that he was able to open up and able to be like, hey, I really got some problems. Where if Anakin just bottles them up, and ultimately that's kind of to blame on the Order, to a certain extent, but. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
a
also
lot to
I
blame
gotta
on the Order for
shout
not
out
opening up.
shout out Dan the Man. Thank you so much for the $5 ramen drop. We all the donations go to ramen, so we certainly appreciate it. Yeah, and where I always come down on the whole matter is the Jedi were problematic, right? They had a lot of issues. They lost their way, and they were more interested in serving the Republic than they were serving the light. But at the end of the day, I have to say that the Jedi were not malicious. They were doing the best that they knew how to do. It's almost like a generational trauma thing. Like,
Yeah.
if your parents doesn't know how to raise this type of kid, they're going to raise you the way they were raised. And maybe that's not the best way, but maybe they do have the best intentions. You know, we have people doing that, you know, that, and their goal is not for him to turn to the dark side, and they want him to be structured and all this stuff, and they don't know how to handle it with him. Palpatine actually has horrible motivations for him and is just like going to poke him and push him towards it. So that's why I don't blame the Jedi. I think the Jedi could have prevented his fall. But I always come back to it's hindsight being 2020. It's you're trying to help the best that you can, but you don't know how to. And if you look back, oh crap, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have done this. While Palpatine is on the other side going like, oh, well, you're more powerful than any Jedi, and you're going to surpass all of them, and you are the chosen one, and like pumping him up and like straight up just like manipulating him towards it, to the point where when he has to make a choice, is he going to choose the person who's been feeding him candy or the people that have been feeding him vegetables? I don't know. So I kind of see it both ways, but like,
Yeah.
we can spend all night on Anakin's fall, but let's hit it.
Let's keep going.
But
I could spend all night.
we're gonna come back to it. So real quick, let's do a quick hit on your guys' thoughts overall on Anakin's fall. And I'll go to Carter first.
I mean, it's tragic. I think it's done very well, especially when you add in like the Clone Wars and everything. I mean, it's done extremely well, and it hits really hard, and it should hit really hard. It hurts so good that like, it hurts, but it's great. I mean, you love to see, and then obviously when he redeems himself, it's even more satisfying. But no, yeah, I mean, his fall it's very, very tragic, but it almost had to have happened for the galaxy to be where it is.
Sadly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people say that the Phantom Menace is like irrelevant to the story, but I like the Phantom
It's
Menace
so
'cause it
relevant.
shows how young and innocent he was and how tragic it is that he felt, because he was this young hopeful kid who, in a deleted scene in the Phantom Menace, that old woman told him that like he was the kindest boy in the entire galaxy, and they see him go from that to falling into being like the most fearsome Sith Lord that like everyone was terrified of. He could just walk into a room and everyone knew that he was evil, and just to see that progression, that's what makes it
Yeah, and
super
even
tragic, almost like a
Qui-Gon
Shakespearean
says it.
tragedy.
Even
Yeah.
Qui-Gon
Mhm.
says it. He's like, you should be proud of him. He gives with little thought of reward, already showing that he gave so much to others.
Well, think
Yeah,
about it.
like-
In that
yeah.
movie, or sorry, keep going, Kels. I don't want to interrupt.
No, okay, but yeah, like originally, like when originally why he turned is he thought he was helping people because his mom, he was plagued by that, and it really goes into depth in the Revenge of the Fifth novel, which I just reread, so it's like fresh in my mind. Because like he is so terrified of losing Padme, of losing Obi-Wan, of losing even Palpatine, that he was willing to go to great lengths to stop that from happening, because he blamed himself for his mom, because he's constantly being like, well, if I had just gotten there a day earlier, if I had just maybe like gotten there faster and not not stayed at the Larges so long, like I would have been fine, I would have saved her, and like he's constantly in that. And then so it starts off innocent to save Padme, he gets in over his head and realizes what power does to him, and then ends up choking his wife, which I do not recommend. Do not do that.
Without consent. If
Jocko!
in the
Getting to know
Phantom
you a lot
Menace
more tonight,
though,
my friend.
in the Phantom Menace though, I do think about how this kid is he's a slave. He doesn't really get to own stuff, right? But he's been building this pod racer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you guys can basically just have it, and I'll race it." And then like, okay, and I'll win, and then you can just keep it and the proceeds and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And you're like, you don't want anything, like you're a slave. You can ask for something. I don't know, man.
He just wants a good time. That's all he wanted. He just wanted to go have fun and race. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
very
what he
in
loved doing.
character. And then also, not to break everyone's hearts here, but it is canon that that after the Phantom Menace, sometimes Obi-Wan would wake up in the middle of the night and
Yep.
see Anakin sleeping at the foot of his bed, because Anakin was always afraid that
He was
that
gonna lose
Obi-Wan would disappear as well, because he lost. He was taken away from his mom, by Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan was kind of a dick to him.
He was like,
He was really mean to him.
and the kind guy that took him away also died. And he's like, all right,
Yeah.
well,
his first father figure. His only really father figure. The other one was more like a brother. But
yeah.
I remember like reading about that, and it's like heartbreaking because like you can already see from the beginning that the attachments were building and how much he cared for Obi-Wan like already because he didn't want to lose someone else.
I think, the most tragic thing about Anakin is he really did. He had a heart of gold. He really was like the kindest person I think we may have met up at least at that point in time, and then
Yeah.
the Jedi just kind of that was a fault to him. And I mean, I love me some Padme, and I'm sure I'm gonna get some heat for this, but like she also was like kind of selfish. Like Anakin was never going to come first. The galaxy and independence
True,
for
yeah.
everybody was always going to come first, and that's really great. But like he was more comfortable being second fiddle because that was the only place he was ever at.
He
And I
was
don't
oh my god, people don't get that when I say it. Like,
Yeah.
I agree with you. I agree
Yeah.
with you because, like, I'm not saying that he was like on one extreme end where he focused so much of his like energy and love and stuff into like his loved ones, which is great, but it can like hurt you, like yourself.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, she
Yeah.
like, when was she ever really like, you know what I mean? Like she was always for like the galaxy, and that's amazing as you said, but like bring
Yeah,
some of the energy back.
And
she
I
didn't
think
know
that
how to do it either. She just didn't know
Yeah.
how. And then you get Luke, and then
Yeah.
he falls. It's totally understandable how he fell. It's really tragic. And then Luke finally, it's so brilliant and it's so beautiful. The first person who like one asked him to change. He did, Luke's like, I believe in you. Come, you can come with me. And then he's like, and he still picked him. Like little baby Anakin never got picked. He was always like shuffled off somewhere else. Now here's his son.
Yeah.
And he picked him, and it's so beautiful and it's so perfect, and I love it.
Whew, yeah, it is beautiful. Okay. All right, and then let's flop it back the other way and ask how much Anakin affected Ahsoka and who she is, and do you think how would she would have turned out under a different master?
I think Anakin was the perfect fit for her. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've
Yes.
read some things where people think, in season 2, when they kind of make it like a game on how many droids they can like destroy and stuff, and like they have to count how many they get. Like, I've heard some people speculate that Anakin's trying to distract her from reality to make this whole war thing easier on her, because if she like looks around and seriously sees all the pain and stuff, she would, be like suffering. But he purposefully might have, this is of course speculation, made that game so that she can focus on the task at hand without, getting her heart broken by seeing all the terror that's going around as like a teenager. But he cared a lot for her, and I think because of him, she became super skillful. I think she got one of the best duelists as her master, and one of the best force users as her master, if not the best. So, she really benefited from him, I think.
Yeah, and like she learns so much, and especially like looking at her like reflecting, like I know we're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but when she's talking to Grogu and talking about how fear, and she's seen that what that does to people, or like referring to Anakin, and I like everything that Ahsoka is, I think Ahsoka is really like the embodiment of light, and she like wouldn't be that if she hadn't seen her master turn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
She learned a lot from his mistakes.
Yeah.
but
like-
a lot from his strengths too, and then also just being
So much, yeah.
in the trenches, with being in the
young.
trenches, like in the front line with him, just always charging in and seeing what goes wrong. I mean, like, okay, obviously you're not going to do that, but this other part was really good, and she also learned how to crash ships from him.
Like I think it's
Learned how
good
to jump
because
out of them.
he was different, like from all the other Jedi. He was the odd one out. Like he was the different one, and he approached things differently. And I think it was more her speed, so she got to develop herself exactly how she was meant to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, if Ahsoka didn't have Anakin, she would not be the same character at all, especially
No.
after the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
No, definitely not.
yeah, I love it. And Brian, did you say your thoughts?
You know, I mean, I'm just gonna echo what everybody said. Honestly, like there was no one else for her. I don't think, I, I think Obi-Wan played a big part in her training
That's true.
too, and I think
And Plo
seeing
Koon.
them, and well, yeah,
Plo Koon.
Yeah.
Plo Koon's great. Yeah, Plo Koon's great. But like, I think actually seeing
Plo
the
Koon is my dad.
the flaws in Obi-Wan are equally as important to Ahsoka. I think his coldness to everything, at the same time seeing all of Anakin's like warmth, I think is what really I think she found the balance in that of yeah. I mean, there's nobody else for her. There just wasn't.
Awesome. I love it. Okay, and then speaking of that, we had that awesome little moment in Rebels where she's talking
Oh, yeah.
about Anakin being her master. And I'm curious because I added that quote, and I know I want to hear your guys's thoughts on it. And just to reiterate, she says, and I cut out Ezra's little part in there. Sorry. She says, "Let's Anakin Skywalker. He was my master. He was powerful. Rarely lost a battle. What would have surprised people was how kind he was. He cared deeply about his friends, and looked out for them until the end."
Why am I about to cry right now? That's not the purpose of this. I should not cry. I think it really just shows, like from earlier conversation, how good he truly was, how pure his heart really, like where his heart really was, and I think she knew him best in that situation.
Yeah. He could be himself around very few people. And I would say Ahsoka is the main person that he could like actually be himself and
Yeah.
like show some insecurities even around Ahsoka. But to everyone else, he had to be this chosen one and act perfect. But around Ahsoka, he could be that like almost like caring and type of person.
Yeah. What do you think, Brian?
I think I feel so upset for her because I feel like had Anakin, and I know I keep going back to this, but it's a pivotal. It's like the most important part of all of Star Wars, I think, for me. But when she leaves, I think she looks at the relationship that Kanan and Ezra have, and like, let's be honest, that is like the perfect Padawan. Like that is the
Oh
perfect
my god.
relationship.
Yes,
So
it
good.
is.
Actually, just the entire
Yeah.
Ghost Crew.
People hate
Let's
on it. I
just
don't know
all
why.
like live in the Ghost Crew.
It's
But
it's
they could
perfect.
have had that relationship, you know, and that
Please.
it's got to be heartbreaking. Like she's happy for Ezra because that's who she is, but at the same time, there's she's just human.
And I
But
think,
like,
I mean, that's how she connects with Ezra later on when Kanan dies, is like she's
mhm,
like, I couldn't save my master
Yeah.
either. And it's
yep,
like,
And
God, that's heartbreaking.
And what's interesting about those two, so Anakin and Ahsoka and Ezra and Kanan, is what I think makes those two pairs unique is that unlike a lot of other Master and Padawans, is that the Master, yes, teaches the Padawan, but the Padawan also teaches the Master. Ahsoka constantly is teaching Anakin different lessons. Ezra is constantly teaching Kanan different lessons. So it's not like like they have a really, really unique sort of relationship, and I think
Yeah.
that's what makes them special.
And I would go on to say that I think Jedi need Padawans. I mean, that's the reason Ahsoka was assigned to Anakin in the first place. And it helped. Probably, maybe not enough. But yeah. Okay, what do you guys think of that Ahsoka versus Vader fight? And
Beautiful.
how do we feel
One of the
about
best
that in the
Star Wars
meetings?
One of the best
Uh,
Star Wars conflicts.
It the
Yeah.
I think definitely top 2, top 3. I would say that Empire, Luke vs. Vader, and Empire or Return of the Jedi, Luke Vader. But I mean that fight, like it's so good. It is so unbelievably good, and it's so deep. And then, but whenever she chips his mask and he says Ahsoka, and it's like a mix
Yeah.
between Hayden Christensen,
Yeah, it's Matt Lanter.
um,
or
Matt
it's all
Lanter,
three
yeah.
of their
Matt
voices.
Lantern,
Oh my
and
gosh.
then Vader all meshed together, and you're like, he's not like for that moment. You're like, Anakin's not gone. But then
I think he
the
was
next-
genuinely fighting,
second.
like in there, because I think Anakin's like in there,
Yeah.
but it's like hidden and enclosed, and I think he was genuinely like fighting in there to hopefully return, but I don't. He couldn't get there, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think
Ahsoka that.
I just think to
sorry.
what he says in, what Vader says is, you don't know the power of the dark side. I must obey my master. And
He felt like it was done, like that's it, like you can't go back.
so yeah, I mean it's still it is Anakin there. Anakin is Vader, and he sees Ahsoka. But he's like, but this is my life. This is what we're doing now, you know?
Well, he's still got that Jedi idea. You can only be one or the other. There is no
Yeah,
other
he's like-
options. There are two. I chose
Yeah.
the dark side, and that was my choice. And I choose my choice. You know, like it was. Oh man, it's so. It really is a incredibly powerful and a very emotional, like moment. And it was another time when he could have. Ahsoka can bring that out in him, man. He could have done something right then and there. And stopped a lot of hurt.
But I also kind of like the thought of because in Revenge of the Sith, he's like in the heat of it, like he's deep in the dark side. You know what I mean? Nothing was shaking him loose there. But I kind of like this fight because you see the closest. At that point, Ahsoka is not enough, and I appreciate the fact that the only thing capable of it was Luke. I mean, it's essentially an
Yeah.
extension of his love for Padme, but that's the only thing that could chip through that outer shell, and that's one of the reasons why I love the original trilogy so much. Is you see that, and then you also see Anakin's kindness when he was little reflected in Luke.
Well, you know the part in that, like as a dad, I think about these things. Like Anakin's choices in that moment when he decided to follow Darth Sidious, he guaranteed his son the same life that he had. He grew up on Tatooine. He grew up without any freedoms, without anything, and he had to see the results of what he did to his own son. And it was all the pain that he felt his entire life. And then that kid wanted to be a Jedi? Like, no. No. Like, what you don't understand, son, is like Jedi were part of like how I ended up this way. Like, you don't see that yet because the Jedi at that point in time are, they're the
Heroes.
greatest idea. Yeah,
Deified.
Yes. It's
That's why I love Luke
Yeah, it's
in The Last Jedi.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just got excited, and he's like, strip away their deeds, and and you're like, yeah. And I think we lost.
There she is.
Yeah, I think my computer just got too hot and just freaked out.
Okay. Did you guys have any additional
also-
thoughts on that fight? Go ahead.
Yeah, so if you think about it, so Ahsoka had the world's hardest day. Like, the award is to her that day of Twilight of the Apprentice. She fought 2 Inquisitors, Darth Maul, Darth Vader, and Palpatine all in the same 24 hours, and still is alive. I mean, man.
We can thank
It's pretty
Ezra.
impressive.
It's I never thought about it like that, but like when
did.
when she
Queen went
when
off.
she gets brought into the world between worlds, it's kind of like, I don't know, I play Overwatch, and sometimes like chaos is happening, someone's about to kill you, and then like you die, and then Mercy reses you, and you're like, why did you bring me back here? Like,
He's like so tired from that fight, and then Ezra's like, "Hey yo, what's going on?"
Hey, we're just gonna go run through this world now. It's fine. She's like, man, this has
Everything's
been.
normal.
She's like, why are you 2 years older? What happened?
He's like, Kanan's dead. Wait, what?
What? It's like, oh yeah, you've been out of the world.
Kanan died?
Huh?
she didn't even bat an eye. She's just like, all right, we just roll with it. This is kind of weird, but force and stuff. Okay, so now I have to ask you guys, because I truly, personally, I feel like Ahsoka's feelings and things have changed since then. Now, we really haven't gotten all of it, but when we go into The Mandalorian, we get her talking again about Anakin. I'm curious how you think, what you guys feel about this, when she says, I cannot train him. His attachment makes him vulnerable to his fears, his anger. I've seen what such feelings can do to a fully trained Jedi Knight, to the best of us.
I think she experienced some form of PTSD, like with just,
100%.
with just she'll never forgive herself for, failing Anakin or letting him go, or that's how she felt. She felt like she failed him. So she didn't want to make a mistake again and be involved in this situation, because she was scared that due to these feelings that Grogu was having, that he would go down the same path, and she wouldn't wish that pain upon anyone else, like Din, for example. So I think that is why she was like, no, I will not train him. It's just too much pain for her to do it.
Yeah. And like at this point, she doesn't.
PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you go. You go.
Oh no! But like at this point, she doesn't know that Anakin turned back and doesn't know that he was saved, and so like it's now been like years since that last confrontation with Vader, and so she fears that like there's nothing she could have done to save him, and then she's just terrified that she doesn't want Din to go through that pain, she doesn't want Grogu to go through that pain, and just is like, he's better off if he just stays with you, because he's vibing with you and you got a good thing going. I don't want to break that. So
Oh my god, Kels, thank you. I literally, no one else has ever said, like, that is totally my read on this thing. Earlier she's like, you're all he needs. You are all he needs. She keeps saying it over and over. Like, his attachment to Din is what's saving him, and that's what's so great. I feel in that their little quiet talk, like during this scene with the little ball.
he's probably telling her all, he's probably telling her all about his dad. He's like, he's so cool.
Yes, she's over there. Hey, little Grogu, like, don't take it from me. Like, your dad needs this moment because he's, Anyways, I will go on and on, but like, he's like a little queer dad who doesn't believe he can be a daddy because he was never told that he could, and he grew up in some weird place, and like, he doesn't know how to interact with anyone because he's just been told over and over and over who to be and how to be and what to be. And I think that scene and the way she delivers it, I really do. I agree with you 100%. I think it's her telling Din, like, no, I will not train him because you're enough. And then if that my boy Luke didn't show up and screwed up the whole plan, I think Ahsoka kind of made a misstep in not being as direct with him.
Yeah.
As
she could have been like, no, he needs to stay with you. He's fine.
Yeah.
He's safest with you.
He's a little dense. He's a little slow. He's a little himbo.
He knows nothing about Star Wars, but we love him.
It's funny because go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, like Maria was saying, with like PTSD, like Ahsoka has major PTSD from everything in the Clone Wars, and like in like the Ahsoka book, she's like constantly having these thoughts and like fears almost. But that quote, whenever she's talking to Grogu, is just like, I don't know, I remember watching that and just got like chills. You're like, she's talking about the guy. She's talking about him
Hmm.
finally.
Do you
But
think
yeah,
if she
it's just a
mentioned
really full circle
Anakin,
moment.
if she had mentioned Anakin by name, do you think Grogu would have PTSD?
Maybe. Oh my gosh.
It's just like hiding.
Just like, no, that's the guy who tried to take the temple. No, let's not do that.
He's like, that's who you're talking about?
He tried to kill me and all my friends.
I was with all the other younglings. Like,
Oh my gosh.
I can explain. I can explain. Trust me.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Ahsoka in her series, or her mini series or whatever it is, because like
Yeah.
I really liked this Ahsoka. I think it was a very different Ahsoka than we had seen before, but I think she was who she needed to be for the townspeople and for Din. Like she wasn't like you hear a lot of discourse about like the fact that she's not a Jedi and she never corrects anybody. Well, she never refers to herself as that, but that's what all those people need her to be in that moment. She's like Ahsoka's not the person who's like, actually, I left the order. Like, that's not her. She's confident enough in who she is. Like, and I don't. I think she's probably healed herself pretty well. Like, I mean, she's been through a lot by the time we see her here. I don't know if she. I think she can probably handle like running into Grogu and reliving all those things in this moment. I think she's a very selfless person and she's being who she needs to be. So I'm really excited. I feel like we're gonna meet her. I don't think this was her yet. This was like something else. It's a really powerful moment.
Don't even get me. Don't
personally,
even get me started on the Ahsoka show. I'm
Oh,
so excited for that.
I'm gonna just be so insufferable. It's
Live-
fine.
How
Live
did you
action
react when you
Ezra.
heard about Ezra? I want to know.
well, we're gonna touch on
Oh my
that
God.
at the very end though. But what's funny though is for me, and actually real quick, I want to talk to some of the people in the chat because we have Camilla's asking, is attachment always a bad thing? Asking for a friend, and no, it's not.
They just painted it to be a bad thing, and then the Jedi painted it to be a bad thing, meaning that they never taught him or anyone how to deal with attachment properly. That's
Which is
Yeah, it's just.
which is
learning how to
interesting
deal with
because
that.
it's not quite a Jedi teaching, and so I do see something, and it sounds like a few people here do have some religious trauma in the past, and there's a thing where there's the actions that are taught, and then there's the actions that are actually performed, and they do not line up, and that's where the problems come from. And as you know, Camilla brings here rereads of Ernesto's speech to Lula from Race to Crash Point Tower. Lula straight up tells her, it's like, no, you are supposed to be connected to these people. You just aren't supposed to place that above your relationship with the Force. But you know, all these things, they just kind of get out of whack. Roman asks, thoughts on the Thrawn book? Which one? This one? Haven't read it yet. I just got it.
I'm
You, like,
still,
have it
I'm
already
ready.
still
Suckers.
reading Thrawn Treason. Oops, it's fine.
Um,
I put on
I'm
Thrawn
like
Treason
three-
forever.
I'm like 3/4 away with the first one.
Ugh.
And it is very, very good.
Although I do have to reread Greater Good before I can, because I had COVID while reading it, and so I don't know if my brain worked
no.
properly. So I'm gonna go back through it. Let's see here. And now there's just a lot of Thrawn love in the chat.
Do we blame them?
We
No.
But-
do love Thrawn.
But I actually took the exact opposite read on the situation. I mean, I feel like as a cornerstone of Star Wars, the Jedi need to be there. They just need to be better. And the answer that Luke ran into of the Jedi need to end, and it's like, yeah, they did. They were in the wrong, and they were supposed to protect the galaxy, and they failed. And then Luke tried again. And we don't know exactly what he tried, but he had the knowledge from before. whatever he tried ran into the same problem, and he's like, all right, I think these guys are the issue. Like the Jedi need to end. Which when I run into people that dislike Luke saying that, but also see all the problems with the Jedi in the prequels and like can't marry the two ideas. I don't know. That's just weird to me. But um, he was wrong though. The Jedi do need to be there, but they need to be different. They need to be better. And I honestly, my read on this was I think that Ahsoka has returned to the Jedi, but is more like a way seeker from the High Republic, where
Yeah.
she's like, all I'm
I agree.
doing is, serving, my light. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna help people and all this stuff. I can't do the big organization thing anymore. I just can't do it. Seen too many things. Seen some stuff. Don't recommend it. And in that the episode of course is called The Jedi. And she has her Silka beads back. The same thing that she wore as a Padawan braid, and they're on her belt. I think that seeing my take on it was that her fighting Vader, she approached Vader as that's the guy that killed my master. She found out that that was her master, and I think maybe the lessons clicked of like, oh, they told us not to do this stuff because that might happen. But them telling us that kind of pushed him into doing this. So there has to be some sort of middle ground. And I think that she has found that middle ground. And that's why with Grogu, it wasn't, yeah, we must take this kid and train him and make him forget about you. It was, no, he has this attachment. It's not bad. Keep him. Like, that's what he needs.
That's an
But if
interesting
he's
take.
going
I
to do
haven't heard
this,
that.
if he's going to do this, he has to make his own choice. I mean, for Christ's sake, he's 50. Like, let him live his let him live his life.
He's acting like a baby, but really
No,
he's
he is a baby for
He
sure
thinks
still.
this is
But
Gaga, but inside he's like planning to destroy the galaxy or something.
He's Thrawn. He has the brains of Thrawn. He's just a little baby.
Yeah, and you just
I like
no,
that.
because he can't speak.
I like that, Chaco. That's really good. Like that's
Yeah.
That's a good way to.
That was
look
my
at it.
initial reaction.
and like
My
I don't
initial
know.
reaction was like, I think Ahsoka would consider herself a Jedi now, just not the whole
Just not like
order.
what
Mhm.
the Jedi were before. She wouldn't associate.
I mean, it's
herself
kind of
with
like she
that.
was almost trying to do, not like Kanan and Ezra, but like they were Jedi, but they functioned outside of the Order, and it worked, and they had attachments, and they still, like, they just followed the light, and they followed the Force, and it worked out for them, and I'm sure she saw that, and saw that good can come from having attachments and just kind of doing your own thing, and you can, like, do good. You don't need the Order and the structure for that.
yeah.
You just kind of go off.
And we don't even know, like at least for me, like I don't even know what Ahsoka is now. Like I feel like
'Cause it's
she's
new.
like
It's like
moved
our
beyond something
our
Morai's
little girl
attached
has
to her.
grown up. Our little
But
girl
like
has
even
grown up.
literally like Morai's with her all the time now. It's like her little tether to this world between worlds or something. Like I don't know. We haven't really discussed that yet. We've got all these. We know she went through some crazy stuff when she was sitting there in the bottom of what's called Malachor, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Malachor.
Like we know she's going through some like deep dives there, like and I don't even. Who knows what she is? I don't know. I can't wait. I can't wait for later.
Yeah. And so, what kind of prompted this episode was that big news that Hayden's going to be reprising his role, and I
Oh my god.
we got to briefly talk about this. So, what do you guys think? And anyone that's not turning into a robot slowly, but. How did you guys think about react to the news? What do you think we might see out of this? I'll go to Brian first.
I mean, I can't wait. Personally, I'm not interested in going backwards. I want to see some Bluey Ghost Anakin hanging out with Ahsoka, having some conversations about like what comes next, what can come next. I really am looking forward to Ahsoka, Grogu, Luke, and Anakin having like some real like Force talk. Like I am a Force Star Wars person. I'm here for the Force all the time. Give it to me like all the time. And
You love
like
the
let's
Mortis
get
arc,
into
huh?
this next level.
Because me
Oh,
too. Me too.
uh-huh. Give me some Mortis
P3.
arc and some Night Sisters any day of the week, and I am like a well-fed boy. Like I I'm looking forward to those kinds of conversations. Like let's get deeper in the Force and be like let's have conversations that we haven't had about it yet before, because I think um between Ahsoka, Luke, and Anakin, I think we have three very different perspectives and points of view and different levels of understanding of the Force, and let's go there. Let's see what Luke was trying to teach at that school.
I
I
want.
would love
Yeah.
because I
I was just gonna say I want Uncle Iroh to show up. I don't know how, but I would love to see him. If he showed up, I'd be like, all right, cool. what were we gonna say, Carter?
I was gonna say like I know she's not most likely not gonna die in Ahsoka unless there's like multiple seasons and then we see her die. But I would love like for her death to be like to just Anakin like inviting her. And then they go off into the distance.
I'm okay
And
with
then
that.
Ahsoka shows up as a Force ghost.
If
That I'm okay
she
with.
But, like,
dies, if
seeing
we see her
him-
death, it has to be good. Like it just has to mean
It
a
has
lot.
to
It
be
has to be
good.
satisfying. or
Dave
else-
Filoni will not let it not be.
Oh, true. Yeah,
satisfying.
Ahsoka's his child. Like he would not
No
give her
chance.
unsatisfying death. It would. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that'd be.
As long as she doesn't go out like Chewbacca did in Legends, crushed by a moon.
Oh my gosh. Why'd you have to bring that up? No.
Listen,
Oh, I
I
hated
live.
that. Oh.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah. We don't speak.
Let's
of it.
not bring that back into the universe.
No, let's
Forget
not.
No, it
that.
didn't.
No.
No, it didn't. It didn't
Didn't
happen.
happen.
No, I absolutely love Legends. I truly do. But like still just things were like, oh, okay, Palpatine has a son with 3 eyes named Triclops. Cool. Wait, can we move past this? Like but yeah, I mean no other hopes or dreams from you guys for
Well,
Hayden
I'm
coming back?
very excited.
I think okay, I was like going into the elevator when I was like on Instagram, I think, and it like I saw someone sent me something. I was like, "You're kidding." Started sobbing in the elevator. There's a camera. I really hope it caught that. I'm gonna ask him for the tape. But one thing I've thought about is now.
Damn it,
if you
Soda
listen
Man!
to-
Don't say that.
What was said? What has been said?
He said she's going out like Loden.
Oh
No.
my god.
No.
Sorry,
Please, no.
keep going,
Please,
keep
no.
going.
Soon. Oh my gosh.
But
Too
I-
too soon.
I noticed that you know how Matt Lanter's voice is deeper than Hayden's.
Mhm.
Now when you hear Hayden, like when you see interviews or something, his voice is deeper, so it's gonna like sound like really similar when he says
my
"Hey
gosh.
Snips." Like
Oh.
imagine that's how like Ahsoka's like wondering on how to tackle this whole Thrawn situation or something, and then all you hear is "Hey Snips," and then she just turns around and she's like, like
I would
what's
start
going on?
sobbing. Just
No, I oh my god, I don't even want to imagine it honestly because I think it's too much for me at this moment. But I just want to see them connect again. I don't like a Force Ghost would be great. I want to see Anakin talk about how he redeemed himself and just like what he learned. I just want them together again. They're like my favorite brother and sister duo ever. So
yeah.
I will say, I really hope that we don't get a flashback to Twilight of the Apprentice.
Oh no, no
As
thanks.
much as
I don't need
think
that
it would
in
be
live action.
cool, but we just don't need that.
We don't
I
need
don't
that in
think
live
that's
That's
action.
like I've seen like a lot of people like really requesting. They're like, oh my gosh, I really want to try the Apprentice live action. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but we
Oh my
don't need
God.
it.
No,
let's
we
be
don't.
honest.
It was great in animation. Don't ruin it by making it live action.
I don't think
Yes.
we ever need any Star Wars that has already been told. Like
No, and
we got it.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing, like that's like the lowest point in their like relation. Like I feel like it'd be awful if they bring it in this this moment where they're supposed to be like, oh, like I missed you, blah blah blah, and then just to like have like a flashback to Twilight of the like that would ruin the mood.
It wouldn't
Like,
make
Yeah.
sense like at
No, it
all,
wouldn't.
like for
Yeah.
anywhere in the plot.
They
to just
would
be
move
there.
past that. Like they wouldn't talk
Yeah.
about it.
Do you think we might also get Tamora Morrison in there in the mix?
I
if
heard
if
about
he-
that.
Oh,
Cody,
if he
Cody,
shows up as
Cody,
live
Cody.
action or live action Rex, if we have the three of them together, I will become absolutely unbearable. It's fine.
I want Cody and Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Ugh.
This
I
is like
I just
off
want live
topic,
action
but I've
Ezra.
heard that Cody
Same.
will
I
be
just
in
want live
Obi-Wan
action
Kenobi.
Ezra.
I just want live action Ezra, and
Same.
then I'll cry. And
The
I'll be
thought of my two favorite characters being in the same show together
Mina Masood.
at the same time.
live action.
Oh, live action
That's a
Ezra
live action
and Anakin in the
insane.
same show, I will become unbearable. I can't handle the two of them separate. Put them together, I will.
Mina
my
Masood
gosh.
is perfect for the role
just
too, because when
want-
you
Oh,
watch
he is
like
so cute.
when you watch live
So-
action Aladdin, and it's
He's
like
so
they're
perfect.
both the same person,
He
like
is-
just in different realities.
He is so perfect. I hope those
I'm
rumors
in
are
love
true.
with him.
I have Brooke in the chat
Ezra
saying
is-
beard Tim. I do want to see Tamora Morrison with
Same.
the full beard.
Oh.
I don't
Polynesian
since
spa.
since you know I want to see a scene where Rex is talking to Ahsoka, or maybe like they have that Force Ghost moment, Ahsoka and Anakin, and then Rex walks up. Now Rex can't see Anakin, right?
That
Because
made
he's
me
not
so
Force
sad.
sensitive.
Yeah.
But I can see him like look at Ahsoka and be like, "He's here, isn't he?" Something like that.
Why would you say that?
Chalk, I'm gonna start crying. I'm gonna start crying again over this whole announcement. It's fine.
Oh, I love
cried.
Rex.
I cried. I
by
cried
the
all
way.
day Friday. It's really embarrassing. I was actually leaving my house to get ready to go see The Last Duel, Adam Driver's new movie, when Becca texted me about it, and I just started crying about Hayden coming back. And it's really because Hayden's my favorite Anakin. He's my favorite version, and I still can't get over he's back in Kenobi. Now we're getting him in Ahsoka. I am going to be unbearable. It's fine.
Did you guys hear
No.
about
Alright,
Tamora
that
Morrison
being-
being in Obi-Wan Kenobi though? Like
I heard about
there's,
it.
like, rumors
I've heard-
that he
I've heard
was
rumors.
casted.
There's so many rumors. I don't even know at this point.
Yeah.
We also need live action Sabine.
Yes, I heard that they're trying to cast her though. So
I think the Barris Offee rumors were actually
Yeah,
for
that's all for
Sabine.
she's
Oh,
also
yeah.
rumored.
Just people were, for whatever reason, thinking Barris Offee.
You know.
Yeah.
So I would like to also get up on my soapbox real quick here, because all of us really had we had a reaction when we found out like that we were getting an Obi-Wan show for one thing, with Ewan McGregor coming back, and then we all flipped out finding out Anakin's gonna be in Ahsoka, right? And I can't help but think about, could we have gotten this sooner? Could we have gotten more content with them had the fan base not been such dicks about not liking the prequels when they first came out?
You mean would
Um,
Hayden have
when-
stayed? Maybe.
Would Hayden have stayed? Would they have given us more content? You know, when Obi-Wan, when Ewan McGregor got cast, he did an interview, and what he said was, the fans didn't like the movies, you know, but the reason he came back was because of the love that the next generation of the fans, the ones that the films were made for, he saw the love that they were sending, and that's what made him want to come back. And all of the complaints I always hear about the sequels now are all the same exact stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh, this isn't Star Wars. George Lucas doesn't understand Star Wars. We should take it from all crazy
It's
stuff.
like the same thing, but
It's
like,
deja vu. It's the exact same. 10 years
And
from
it-
now, sequels will
Do
be
you
great.
get deja vu?
and and so that's my thing, is like, I just don't want people to, I don't want that to be the same thing. I don't want, you know, the kids who their first experience of Star Wars is walking into Galaxy's Edge and seeing Rey, and then like learning that, oh, even if my destiny, if I'm destined for this, I can choose what I want to choose. I don't want people who grow up loving these characters to have to wait 20 years to get their favorite characters to reprise their role because the previous fans were being dicks. You know, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts me
Yeah.
to think
Yeah.
that we could have gotten more had the people that don't like it and still don't like it and aren't going to watch new stuff just been like, okay, not for me. Cool. I don't know. That's me
Yeah.
on my soapbox. Anyways,
No, I completely
Yeah, same.
completely agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I'm hoping like with that mentality, I hope that we get some more of the weird Star Wars that came with the prequels that we've kind of been missing a little bit. Like I want more like 20-foot orchid planets, and like I want to go to these really like bonkers places that the setting around you so not here, but we're dealing with these little interpersonal relationship problems, and that's what grounds it. To me, that's what's always grounded Star Wars. I think the prequels are just as grounded as the dirty universe that the originals were, because it really comes down to human stories at the end of the day. It isn't really about anything else. It's really just the human relationships that all the characters have. The rest is just background, and it's fantastical and it's great, and I'm
Yeah.
here for all of the background, but that's not what makes Star Wars great. It's
Yeah.
the personal
Yeah, like
stories.
seeing those, the personal stories to me, like I love Star Wars Rebels. It's like my favorite thing ever. But that's why I love it so much, is because it's, yes, like there's some themes in it that like kind of go on like the original trilogy, whatever. But a lot of it is just this small crew of people and how they're bonding, and that's like just something that makes Star Wars so wonderful.
Yeah.
So we can
Absolutely.
get the overlying plot, but then we can also get these random people in a rebellion who have a relationship because one goes to the rebellion and one goes to the Empire, and then they Lost Stars is awesome, but
Oh,
Yeah.
Lost Stars. Oh.
but it's a personal story that has a lot to do, but you learn to just love these characters, and Stars is awesome.
I love
Absolutely.
Rebels too. It's so good.
Yeah, Rebels is my favorite TV show.
No. All right, well, let's go ahead and this has been an amazing conversation. Thank you guys for joining me for this, because that's it's always fun, and all of you guys, none of you have been on this podcast before, so it's always amazing to get all fresh guests. But yeah, if we can go around, and if you have any final thoughts on anything we talked about tonight or anything in general, and then we'll also end it with once again where we can find you and all of your amazing content. And we will go to Maria first.
I think that's it. Like, I just hope that we all as fans can get together and enjoy the new content that's gonna come up, and just allow other people to enjoy stuff that we might not enjoy, or whatever, vice versa. But you guys can find me at Maria_Skywalker on TikTok and on Instagram. That's where you can find me.
Yes. And occasionally on Nerd Council. So.
Yep, I'm on Nerd Council now too. Yeah.
How about you, Carter?
Yep, so you can find me on TikTok at Cart2D2 and on the They Fly Now podcast. We're live every Monday with my co-host Harris Productions. But yeah, I really think that with all of the new shows coming out, I think it's what's going to be awesome is, like, previously we'll get a movie once every few years, and then like animated shows, but for the most part it's movies once every few years, and in that few years of gap, people just start hating and overanalyzing. But I think with the series, it's going to be one series after another. Oh, you don't like Obi-Wan? Oh, but you love Ahsoka. Or you don't love Ahsoka, but you're going to love Lando. So I think it's going to be a really awesome time to be a Star Wars fan. And if you don't like it, then just keep moving on. But yeah, there's going to be so much awesome content. But thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
Yes, it's been a long time coming. I remember always shouting you out as you were coming out of like wrestling games last year. How about you, Kels?
Yeah, Yeah, I'm just really excited for next year because it's gonna be like the year for Star Wars fans because this is gonna be like the most consistent. I tried to like do the math of it of like how many weeks we'll have episodes, and if they do like an episode a week of whatever show next year, we're like almost every week next year we should have some sort of Star Wars content coming out, which is really exciting, and I'm very hyped about it. Especially because like there's so much different stuff coming out. Because we're gonna have Bad Batch, we're gonna have Lando. I think Ahsoka's probably gonna be
Andor,
2023.
Acolyte.
I'm so excited for Acolyte. Oh my gosh. Um, but like
A droid story.
yes, and there's like something for everyone, and I'm like really excited for it. Yeah, but you can find me on TikTok at Discount Sansa Stark and the Queer Ascendancy. Um, Me and Becca have a very sporadic posting for our podcast. We apologize, but we just post whenever we can. So just
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, we have Brian. Closing thoughts on where we can find you? Oh, I'm having trouble hearing them.
So
Uh, we're having some technical issues. What's funny is this actually happened last time, where the person
Let's
disappeared.
switch to the. Is this any better? I'm gonna switch to my AirPods.
yep.
Yes, we can. It's more than nothing. So yeah. Closing thoughts on where we can find you.
You can find me at Serving Pink Milk on Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok, but I don't know how to use TikTok. Thank you for having us. This has been really, really, really fantastic. I appreciate it so much. It's been a pleasure getting to know all of you, and it's so exciting to know that there are really great Star Wars people out there, and I think that's what I'm mostly looking forward to next year is just some great new Star Wars, lots of new stuff for everybody. There's enough if it's not for you, the next one might be, and we can all just kind of enjoy one another. And I think our Pink Milk mantra is we are Star Wars fans, we support each other, and we have fun. And I think it's such an easy thing to do that people make far too difficult. So let's keep doing it. And thank you for having me, and thank you for all of it, always.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. I had a great time the other day on the Pink Milk podcast. And it's always fun. Also, I want to say thank you to everyone who's hanging out in chat. X-Core Gamer Skills are here. Alyssa Grace. Carter is both in the chat and here. Brooke, we have my Dyad Element 7, Ace Bronx, we have Camilla, we have my boy Jedi Connor Fahey. He is the man. Luke, Padawan's Podcast, St. Pat, Harith from They Fly Now, Carter's other half, Dan the Man, I don't know if I already shouted you out, Frank Carlino, Anthony Strader, just a soda man, even though he makes us sad. Cal Forer, who's becoming one of my favorite streamers. He's a good friend of the channel. Who we became friends because he was hanging out in the chat, one day. We have Haley with Corellia at Coffee Works, and hopefully I get to hang out and meet you guys at Star Wars Celebration when it happens.
I'm hoping.
Thought to book the hotel before I got the ticket, so let's hope we can get the tickets.
I have neither.
Yes. We also got Malik in the chat. Now, we are going to might be announcing something real soon, an awesome project with Malik and some other content creators. So y'all need to stay tuned because that's going to be epic. But that's going to do it for this episode. Once again, you're all amazing, and may the Force be with you always.